matchup, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Certainly one of the Money in the Bank matches that I've been looking forward to in recent memory. You'll look at the stacked card in itself, the level of talent in this matchup. 5 of these 6 individuals have never won a world championship in the WWE. Obviously, the one that has is Drew McIntyre, which makes a compelling case to win the Money in the Bank briefcase himself. But you also have guys like an LA Knight, like Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Andrade, just to name a few. And I look at the crowd, and like very similar to how the women, and you got to break it down one by one, right? I'll start with Drew McIntyre. I would love Drew McIntyre to win the Money in the Bank contract and etch his name as a possibility into a new world champion. But Drew McIntyre is the kind of talent where he doesn't need it. He doesn't need that contract. He can get a world title on credibility and merit alone. And I don't think his story with CM Punk by any means is close to being finished. So I don't believe that Drew McIntyre wins this Money in the Bank contract. Similarly, I look at a guy like Chad Gable, whose story is still very much involved with the Alpha Academy, but then you include this interesting little wrinkle with the Wyatt Six. They're clearly out to get him, and quite possibly because of his treatment of his family. You look at the common theme of the Wyatt Six, and it's that forgotten aspect. All of these members have been members of their own respective families, forgotten, left away to the side, burdened with that notion of not having a sense of belonging. And here's Chad Gable, who had his family and he mistreated them. Something that they would have wanted, something that they would have been a part of, a family, and he threw it away. So that feud in itself, I don't think is done either. I don't believe that Chad Gable, I think it would be great to have someone like Chad Gable win, because then you lend that opportunity for him to become a future world champion. And I would love to see that, personally. I would love to see that. I look at Carmelo Hayes. He is the prototype. He is the ideal fit for a Money in the Bank winner. He's athletic, great character work, great might work, a great prospect, young. But I think we can still hold on to it. I don't think necessarily he needs to win the Money in the Bank briefcase just yet. I think it would be great. I would love to see him become a future world champion, but we can hold off on that. His time will come. I think we'll probably have him have a run at the U.S. title before the world championship. But Carmelo Hayes definitely would be a great Money in the Bank holder. I look at also like a guy like Andrade, who he's an interesting choice. I think out of everybody in the match, he's the one where it's like he doesn't really have that much going on, right? I think he's included because of those recent reports that he's unhappy with his direction of his character, which you can't blame him, right? But I don't think he wins either, just because of that idea of like we don't have anything set for him. I think he'll be included in some decent mid-card feuds, but I do not see him winning the match, personally. And that's a shame. I think he's one of those guys who will end up being a member of like the highlight reel. So it leaves me down to 2. LA Knight, yeah, or Jey Uso. 2 baby faces. And for me, the rule is you can only have 1 and 1. 1 heel, 1 baby face. I have a heel winning that women's Money in the Bank ladder match, so I think a babyface wins the men's ladder match. I think LA Knight is a clear-cut favorite. He's made for the main event scene. This guy, the rise that he has been on in the last year, very much like Jey Uso, who's been on a rise. These 2 individuals came from lower mid-card. Of course, Jey Uso was a tag team, wasn't really a single star. But since coming on his own, these 2 have really found ways to get over with the crowd and propel themselves into some of the top tier baby faces in the company, in the sport, really. Jey Uso has gotten so over with his entrance with the Fireflies, with his wrestling character, the charisma, yeet. LA Knight has gotten over with his mic work, with his throwback style of like the Attitude Era where we have like a Rock and Austin type of vibe. He got the word yeah over. It's a toss-up. I think either one would be great. I would love either one of these guys to win. I could make an argument that any one of these guys winning the Money in the Bank match, I'll be happy. Literally with any of them. But I'm stuck to these two. And I look at a guy like LA Knight. He's involved with Logan Paul. He beat Logan Paul and Santos Escobar in that triple threat match to qualify for this very ladder match. Which is why I would not be surprised if Logan Paul showed up and interfered. LA Knight is currently in his feud with Logan Paul. I think they'll for sure have that SummerSlam matchup for the United States Championship, which I'm hoping LA Knight finally wins. He needs to have a championship attached to his resume. He's earned that right. He should be the one to dethrone Logan Paul. But because he's embroiled in this feud with Logan Paul, I think it immediately disqualifies him from my predictions. I think Jey Uso wins. Jey Uso, and if you remember back then, at the beginning of 2024, Jey Uso made it a goal. He made it a resolution to finish the year 2024 with some singles championship gold. This is it. This is how you do it. We planted the seed back in January. We are now in the middle of July. He wins the Money in the Bank, has a guaranteed championship opportunity at the time, the place of his choosing. Jey Uso, I don't know if they're gonna call it Money Yeet in the Bank or Yeet in the Bank or Money in the Yeet, whatever they want to call it. Jey Uso, mark it down. Don't even pencil it down. Put that in permanent marker. Jey Uso will win the Money in the Bank ladder match and become a champion by the end of 2024. My only concern is, are they going to go the Austin Theory route and have him cash in for the mid-card title? Or are we going to see a world champion, Jey Uso? If my money was on it, I think they're going to go mid-card. But I hate the idea of, I have a contract for any title of my choosing, and I settle for the mid-card. No, you want to be the world champion. No matter who it is. You have a guaranteed opportunity at that title. Why not go to the top?